Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Politically Correct. With me, I'm DK Singh. The question that we sent to the viewers this time was, can the Congress survive without the Nehru-Gandhi family? And if yes, who would make the best Congress president? The question is pertinent today because now there are moves in the Congress to bring Rahul Gandhi back. You may recall that in May, after losing the Lok Sabha elections, the second consecutive Lok Sabha elections that the Congress lost so badly, Rahul Gandhi offered his resignation at the Congress Working Committee meeting. And in July first week, he issued a public statement making it public that he was going to quit, taking accountability for the party's loss. Then the next month, that was in August, we saw Sonia Gandhi taking over as interim Congress president. Even though all family loyalists were making a clamor for Rahul to stay back, and they wanted to just let the election results go, and it was just kind of par for the course in politics. But Rahul didn't agree. It has been 4 months since Sonia Gandhi took over. Preparations are on now in the Congress to bring him back. Basically, it's the Congress president, interim Congress president, who his mother Sonia Gandhi, who wants him back. So as the plan is, sometime early next year, probably in January or February, there will be an AICC session where he may be elected the Congress president again. Now, as we know that the way the tamasha goes in the Congress, before the AICC session, in the run-up to it, you may see a chorus of demands from party leaders to bring Rahul back. Now, just a few days back, you may have noticed this hashtag trending, my leader RG. Now, that hashtag was being tweeted and retweeted by all the youth Congress people. So, that was kind of a build-up to what is going to happen in the next 2-3 months. Of course, Rahul has not spoken again, spoken on this issue yet, and nobody in the Congress has basically given the agenda of the AICC session that okay, he is going to be elected. But yes, I mean, after ThePrint did that story about this plan to bring Rahul Gandhi back, many senior Congress leaders have gone on record saying that he will make the best Congress president. Anyway, so coming to the question, can the Congress survive without the Nehru Gandhi family? Well, if you ask me, of course, why not? Now, since independence, you have had 15 Congress presidents, out of which there are only 4 from the family. But of course, they have been there for the longest tenure. I think from 1978 onwards, when Indira Gandhi split the party, and then you had Congress I getting floated. There were just about 7 years from 91 to 98, where you had a non-Gandhi as the Congress president. That was Narasimha Rao from 91 to 96, and then for 2 years, Sitaram Kesari. And we know how unceremoniously Kesari was kind of thrown out as Congress president. So, it was in April 1998, if I recall it right, when Sonia Gandhi took over as the Congress president, and then she went on to become the longest serving president of the party. That was for 19 years. In 2017, Rahul Gandhi took over. As for the survival, let's look at the latest developments. I mean, in Haryana and Maharashtra, we have discussed it in our previous episodes, how Rahul Gandhi was almost absent. He never participated in any election rallies. There were just total in 2 states put together, he addressed just 5 rallies. And yet we know the results, what happened in Haryana. Congress made a very strong comeback. In Haryana, it got 31 seats when people were not even giving the party anything in double digit actually. In Maharashtra, as we again discussed, we have a tripartite coalition arrangement now. Congress is part of the government. And yes, Rahul Gandhi has not congratulated any of those leaders. Neither any leader from Haryana or no from Maharashtra. He has been quiet. He has not spoken to any of the leaders who were responsible for the party's revival in these 2 states. But the point we are discussing here is, the point I am trying to basically make here is that even without an active participation of the family, Congress did well. So there is a Congress vote bank. It's not the family vote bank. Now in 2014, Congress got about 10 crore votes. In 2019, it got a little over 12 crore votes. There were additional 2 crore voters. Of course, the BJP gained much more. I mean, BJP's tally went from 17 crores in 2014 to 22 crores in 2019. So there's a huge surge in the support base of the BJP. But what I am saying is, if the Congress did not, or Congress's vote bank did not erode the way one was basically, or many experts were predicting, it gained rather. And that's the Congress party's vote bank, not the family's vote bank. And coming to the family, look, why there is this general perception that the family is indispensable to the party. So there are basically 3 reasons proffered by Congress leaders and other people in support of the family rule in the Congress. The first is that the party, the family is like glue and adhesive, which keeps the party together. As we have seen for the last 5-6 years, there has been a regular outflow, exodus of Congress leaders from the party in every state. And we are not talking about booth level workers or block level workers. And we have seen from MPs, ministers, they have been quitting the party. Even in Maharashtra election, actually, in the run-up to the Maharashtra election, you had about 10 legislators who quit the party. So to say that it's a glue, I mean, I can't give you the number of people who have left, because I was trying to count, and in 15 minutes actually I had count more than 50, and then I gave up because it's not possible to count. There has been so much of exodus from the party. So this first reason that is being proffered don't really stand the scrutiny of reason. The second reason that is given is that it's the only family which has pan-India mass appeal. Well, once of course this was the case, but today we have seen what happened in 2019 election. Actually, Rahul Gandhi lost from his own family pocket body of Amethi. And Congress had a worst ever performance in 2014 with 44 seats in parliament. They could not even get the leader of the opposition's post. In 2019, they barely managed to get 52 seats. So that pan-India mass appeal is more of a, faith for party people than the reality. Then the third reason we come to is, or which is being given to us by party leaders today, they say, nobody else, there is no alternative to the family members, be it Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Vadra. That only this family can actually provide you leadership. There is nobody else, because in every state you have so many factions. I mean, there cannot be one single leader beyond the family whose leadership will be accepted by the entire party. It may be partly true, because it's true that in every state you have leaders who are at each other's throat. In every state, all top leaders, you have factionalism everywhere. So there may be some merit in that argument, but fact is it has not been tested. And as we just discussed, see, from 78 onwards, you have only except this period of 91 to 98, when Narasimha Rao and Sitaram Kesari were presidents, you had the family, or the president of the party has come from the family. Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, back to Sonia Gandhi, and then now preparations for Rahul Gandhi. So thing is, the party has not been tested. 91 to 96, Narasimha Rao was managing to keep the flock together, because family was nowhere to be seen, and Sonia Gandhi was in mourning. She did not want to join politics. Sitaram Kesari's period was of course turbulent, and we all know what he did. So, but if you leave that period apart, actually a non-Gandhi family member as Congress president hasn't been there for so long that people refuse to believe that somebody can really stand up and be counted as Congress president, and nobody has got a chance either. But today, when Rahul Gandhi is said to be reluctant, in the sense, his visits to India, I would say, have become less frequent, because after he quit the Congress president post, he has been mostly out. So we don't know where, while Gandhi family loyalists are planning to bring him back, there is no clarity from his side. And talking about Rahul Gandhi, let's talk about his tenure. His political, basically, his career in politics so far. I mean, he won his first Lok Sabha elections in 2004 from his family pocket bureau again. And after that, if you look at look at the different phases of his career in the Congress. Now, in 2007, he had become AICC General Secretary in charge of the Indian Youth Congress and NSUI. So that was the phase which we call the phase of a democrat that Rahul Gandhi was trying to be. So what he was trying to do, or what he made a big hullabaloo about, was that he wanted to basically introduce democracy in the party. The people were being thrust upon. You did not have leaders emerging from the grassroots. You had the same family members. I mean, so he was a dynast who was promising to end the dynasty. He was promising the youth that, okay, he would help them to get into the political mainstream, and that was why he was trying to introduce internal elections. To an extent, I mean, his heart was right there, even though the way it was implemented, the entire thing got botched up. How it was basically compromised was, and you may blame many other dynasts in the party. What they did, they knew the plan was that first you elect, say, Assembly Youth Congress President, then Lok Sabha Youth Congress President. So he was trying to create a parallel set of leaders at different levels who would have got the party's ticket by replacing the existing ones. That was the original plan. So if you have to replace the veterans, now you cannot throw them out lock, stock and barrel. So he was trying to introduce a system where gradually they would get sidelined and a new crop of leaders would come up. Nothing wrong in that experiment. But what he did not foresee, despite many reports to the contrary actually warning him that this was the way this entire scheme was failing, what he did not see was when he was holding elections, say Youth Congress election was happening in Punjab. So what you would see there is, when the membership campaign would start, veteran leaders, people who are totally people who are in control of the local politics, they would get their people to get membership of the Youth Congress. And then when it came to elections for the Youth Congress presidentship at the state level or at the Lok Sabha level, these members who are basically the loyalists of those veterans, they would vote for whoever the veterans wanted, in most cases the children of these veterans. So dynasty in a way continued, and this entire process of internal elections got compromised. That might have left Rahul Gandhi a bit bitter, I suppose, because after that the next phase come. From a democrat he became a kind of rebel with a cause or without a cause. I would leave it to you to judge. But what we saw then was, say in 2013, I think, in January 2013 he became the Congress Vice President, and his first speech was, how when he was going to be elected the Vice President of the party, how his mother had come to his room, she had cried, and he said, because she knew that power is poison. And there was all that emotional drama that followed. We have all seen that. We all of us would remember that. But after that we saw a different Rahul, who was trying to undermine the government, his own government, the UPA government, from within. I won't say after that, even before that, because he was criticizing many of the government's policies. The word would be kind of conveyed to us from his camp, how he was upset about senior ministers, their conduct, their policies. So he was trying to be the opposition leader in the Congress, who would be opposing Manmohan Singh government's policies, who would be opposing his own party veterans over the way they were running the party, and that tussle was on. So, if you recall, there was this ordinance which Manmohan Singh government had brought, that was to basically exempt, to basically protect MPs from disqualification if they got convicted. Now, Rahul Gandhi could have very well expressed a reservation to Manmohan Singh, and I am sure if he had intervened, the government would have backed out. But what he did, Manmohan Singh was in the United States. Hours before he was going to meet the US President, then US President Barack Obama, Rahul Gandhi came to the press club here, where media people had been called for on some other pretext. He came there, and then he started slamming the government for that ordinance. He says it was complete nonsense.
I'll tell you what my opinion on the ordinance is. My opinion on the ordinance is that it's complete nonsense and that it should be torn up and thrown out.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was rattled. And if you, the entire spectacle where the country's Prime Minister was being run down this way publicly by the Vice President of the Congress. So, as I said, from a Democrat he had become a rebel. And while doing all that, what he was trying to achieve, see the way he was trying to vet Congress candidates for elections. I remember in 2007, I used to cover the Congress then, I think for the Indian Express. And then we would see, you would have a bunch of leaders or people who are seeking tickets. They would be called by Rahul for an interview. So everybody would sit together, and then Rahul would call them and start asking, so how many cylinders are there in your constituency? Poor guy, poor leader, he wouldn't know. He would ask, how many LPG connections are there in your constituency? Basically, Rahul was trying to know whether these people knew about all this, or how familiar they were about their constituency. But in the bargain, what would happen was these people would come out, we would be waiting outside, and they would say, come on, I mean, is this the way to do politics? He doesn't know anything. That rift started surfacing then, and similar thing kept happening. So Rahul started, first he took charge of UP, not formally, but he started running the entire thing in UP. 2007 he failed, 2012 he failed, in 2017, and after every election he would come out and blame the organizational weaknesses as if it was somebody else's responsibility. So you would hear him, like after one of the losses, like I am talking about 2007, 12, 17, I mean every election Congress was doing poorly. So after one of the losses he was asked to explain why the Congress was not picking up. He says, well, you will see next time, I will change the party the way you can't even imagine. And we were all like, we didn't know what he was going to do. Nothing happened. 5 years later, Congress lost equally badly. I mean, it was like, and in Parliament you have seen him. Once he threatened, like if Modi ji could give him 5 minutes in Parliament, in the Lok Sabha, he would bring an earthquake. Nothing happened. So basically all that bravado, loud talks, but nothing actually concrete on the ground to show as an organization man or as a member of Parliament. And constantly there was this perception among the old guards in the Congress that he or his people who are apolitical, there is a bunch of youngsters who have been assisting him. So those people were taking decisions without taking anybody else in confidence. And they were trying to kind of undermine all the senior leaders who have been serving the party for decades. So this distrust between the two kept growing. Well, there is an argument in the Congress that it was the veterans who were actually trying to run down. And if you look at Rahul Gandhi's resignation letter, not resignation letter, he had given a public statement, as I said, about his resignation in July. And there he is saying, I was fighting against the RSS, the Prime Minister, all these institutions, and I am proud to say that I was fighting it all alone. Basically saying that nobody in the party had come to his support, or veterans had not come to his support. So he was publicly blaming them. And he was keeping this option of coming back open then also, because if you read that later carefully, he said that I am available to the party whenever it required my services or whatever. So it was basically an expression of anger and frustration, because of which he decided to quit. So it was a kind of public disapproval of the conduct of his senior colleagues. They might have felt as they felt, but after that Rahul, obviously as I said, he must have had a rollicking time after that, because he had hardly been in India. I mean, he visits India for a few days, again he flies back. But now his mother, I mean, she is 73, she turned 73 today, and she cannot travel that much, she cannot campaign around the country. She did not campaign around Maharashtra. So she cannot go on like that. She wants him back. And that's why this entire preparation for this AICC session. We don't know how things will pan out, whether he would accept it even now, but if he were to reject it, again, I mean, would Sonia Gandhi continue for a few more years? No, I mean, that we are very clear, she cannot continue for long, she did not want to. And she did not want Priyanka to come and take over at this stage. She wants Rahul to be there. Probably when Rahul becomes the Prime Minister, Priyanka gets a shot at a Congress presidency, but not now. But that brings us to another question, the second part of the question that we asked. Who will make the best Congress president? And as we discussed, there have been presidents from outside the family for so long. I said there were 15 presidents from 47, of which 11 were not from the Gandhi family. And party has survived, party was doing well.
Why cannot Congress members at the base level decide or choose the president? Can we see a possibility of having a party election?
No, very, very unlikely. Rahul Gandhi himself had planned that, as I said, when he started the democratization exercise or internal elections in the Youth Congress and NSUI. Plan was that this kind of election would happen eventually at the Congress Working Committee level also. As for the Congress President's election, the last time you had this election was in 2000, when Jitendra Prasad, father of Congress leader Jitendra Prasad, he contested against Sonia Gandhi and actually failed miserably, because out of this electoral college of about, if I recall it right, 7,800 votes, Prasad could not even cross the 3 digits. He got just about, I think, 94 votes. Since then, we have not witnessed any election whatsoever. And today, when we know that there is so much of dissatisfaction with Rahul Gandhi in the party, I don't think the family loyalists would risk conducting a fair election.
Captain Amrinder Singh, assisted by Sachin Pilot and Jyotiraditya Scindia, should come to the fore. Then will the party become better off without the Gandhis?
Captain Amrinder Singh is, of course, his a good candidate. If you look at this, as Punjab Chief Minister, you know, he defeated this BJP Shiromani Akali Dal combined in the last election. And what he brings to the table is this ideological clarity which seems to be missing in the Congress. So when Balakot strikes happened after Pulwama terrorist strike, when there was confusion in the Congress and the party was sending out mixed signals, you know, in fact showing some kind of doubt about the government's version of the event or about the authenticity of the strikes. There were many people raising questions in different ways. Captain Amrinder Singh came out supporting it clearly. Same on Article 370. So he knows the pulse of the people. But then there are two factors. Captain Amrinder Singh is not known to be a street fighter, what the Congress needs today. And he is 77 years old now. So he can't be fighting on the streets. Sachin Pilot and Jyotirajit Scindia, if you come to that, I would say if the family starts looking at possible interim arrangement, where if Rahul decides to come back in 23 right before 2024 elections, and you need somebody to be there, and you also want to basically send a signal that no, Congress is not a family held party, and there can be somebody else as the Congress president, or you want somebody who can fight it out, revive the Congress, and make it fighting fit for the next elections when Rahul takes over. There are many candidates. It will not be Sachin Pilot or Jyotirajit Scindia. Look, in the Lok Sabha, Scindia is a good orator and a brilliant politician actually. But what we saw in the Lok Sabha, when the deputy leader's post fell vacant after Captain Amrinder Singh became the Chief Minister of Punjab, the party kept it vacant because it did not want anybody who, as I said, who would shine in Parliament, speak every day, and kind of somehow overshadow Rahul Gandhi. Similarly, when it comes to Sachin Pilot, now he was the one who, as Rajasthan Congress president, who fought it out against Vasundhara Raje government in Rajasthan. For 5 years he fought it, but after the Congress won the election, people here or the High Command decided to install Ashok Gehlot, who was nowhere to be seen in Rajasthan all those 5 years, because Sachin again is young, promising, articulate, and he is a fighter. So, if you start looking at alternatives, leave out anybody who is below 60. So, for instance, we saw the party decided to choose Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary as the opposition leader in the Lok Sabha. They had many better speakers, many outspoken leaders with better grasp of politics. Say, I would just name two, Manish Tiwari and Shashi Tharoor. They are extremely good speakers. But the same problem, you don't want any young people to come up. So, anybody who is below 60, and that includes, I would say, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel also, a brilliant political strategist. I mean, he was responsible for the party's victory in Chhattisgarh, and he had led the party from the front as Chhattisgarh Congress president. And he was a minister in Digvijay Singh government also. Now he is the chief minister. So, he has everything: organizational experience, administrative experience. But he is just 58. You don't want to take that chance. So, all these people have to be ruled out. Then what options you have? Then there is another set of leaders who are shrewd political minds, who may not be in electoral contest nowadays, but who are known to be very shrewd, something again which Rahul Gandhi's team is lacking. Say, Sonia Gandhi's former political secretary Ahmed Patel. If you remember in that Raj Sabha by-election, Raj Sabha poll in Gujarat 2 years back, I mean, what all had not been used? You had income tax people raiding the resort where the Congress MLAs were kind of huddled together. They were all attempt to defeat him. He won finally. When Amit Shah and his entire team were after him, he won. Recently, we have seen in Maharashtra, he was the one who basically got the party to accept this idea of a tripartite coalition with Shiv Sena to deny power to the BJP. So, you have leaders like them, but then again when you talk about these veteran leaders, Rahul may not accept. And there is another factor, because I was talking about Ahmed Patel, and then somebody may ask, why not Ghulam Nabi Azad, why not A.K. Antony, though they are not known as mass leaders, or they are not known for their political competence. But yeah, they have been there, they have been family loyalists. So, don't forget, Congress is now a Janavdhari party. Rahul Gandhi declares himself a Dattatreya Brahmin. He has been running around temples across the country. So anybody who is not a Hindu may not get a shot at power in the Congress at least. So let's rule out that set of leaders again. But yes, as I said, if Sonia Gandhi wants to revitalize the party today, she needs somebody who can fight on the street and who knows mass politics. So let's look at the chief ministers, present and former chief ministers. If you look at it, you have Digvijay Singh in Madhya Pradesh, you have incumbent chief minister Kamal Nath. They are all in 70s. Captain Amrinder Singh, of course, we discussed. You have the former Karnataka chief minister Siddaramaiah. You have former Haryana chief minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda, who is credited with this revival of the party in Haryana. Then you have Harish Rawat, former Uttarakhand chief minister. There are many others. You have Puducherry chief minister Narayanasamy. There are many faces. You have Tarun Gogoi, the former Assam chief minister, who was there for so long. But if you look at them, there are just three, I would say, who stand out, because these leaders are known to be in agitational politics. Say Siddaramaiah, for instance, very shrewd leader, though he lost the Karnataka election. But the way he was dealing with the BJP then, the then opposition parties, and the way he was kind of setting the electoral discourse, it's something Congress is completely lacking today. But then Congress would not really have anybody from south of the Vindhyas right now, because it's in the north where they are actually facing the heat from the BJP. So they would probably go for somebody from North India. So that leaves us with Bhupinder Singh Hooda and Harish Rawat, and both are seasoned politicians, both have been chief ministers and state Congress presidents, and both are known to fight on the street. So for instance, in Haryana, all through those 5 years, although Rahul had sidelined Hooda, it was Hooda who was keeping the Manohar Lal Khattar government on leash, holding rallies, agitations everywhere. I mean, all those 5 years. And if he had been given a clear say in ticket distribution, now out of 90, as I am told, Hooda got just 44 candidates of his own, of which 31. So if he had been given the free hand to basically pick up all 90 candidates, results could have been different. Anyway, that past is past. What we are talking about is the possibility of Hooda or Harish Rawat being given the chance to run the party for a while, even if as an interim arrangement. If you ask me, we have talked about probabilities, but if you ask me, I would say impossible. They will never get the chance, because they are leaders in their own right. Mass leaders with administrative experience, they are again a big threat. So they have many alternatives, but at a time when questions are being raised over the relevance of Gandhi family, I don't think the family would take the risk of picking up any seasoned politician with capabilities to run the party. So we are looking at the return of Rahul Gandhi, if not in January, Feb, later or whenever it happens. Family is not giving up its grip.
If Sonia Gandhi steps down, would Priyanka Gandhi emerge as a promising face?
Well, many family loyalists would prefer Priyanka Gandhi. In fact, a large number of people who are upset with Rahul Gandhi, though they won't go public with this, they would like Priyanka Vadra to come and take over, just for a change. But what we have noticed in Priyanka Vadra is she is very close to Rahul, to her brother Rahul, and she won't do anything which might jeopardize the prospects of Rahul Gandhi coming back. I mean, suppose she is there and party starts winning everywhere, she will have her own set of followers and loyalists. It might clear the pitch for Rahul in future. So I don't think Sonia Gandhi is going to allow that, or even Priyanka Vadra will not be interested in doing that.
Are Mr. Gandhi or Ms. Vadra electable as prime ministerial candidates? If not, then will they allow someone else to be the party leader? who in your opinion is the best position to lead the party and take on the BJP in 2024? Side question, do you think Mr. Modi will run again? I think Mr. Shah is too polarizing, so I guess until we know who runs on behalf of the BJP, it seems like the Gandhis will continue to be involved with the Congress party.
We have discussed the first part of your question about who could be the alternative Congress president here, or who may have the potential. So coming to the second part, whether Narendra Modi would run for the next elections. I remember just about a couple of months back, he was having interactions with the BJP leaders from Varanasi through video conferencing, and somebody asked him, not asked him, basically somebody told him, sir, आप 75 का रोल अपने पे नहीं लागू कीजिएगा. But you know, BJP has this unwritten rule that if you are 75 and plus, you don't hold any post. So you have this Margdarshak Mandal, and you have seen many senior leaders being denied any berth in the government or in the party on that basis. Of course, Yadurappa has done something very different in Karnataka today that we will discuss later. But that 75-year cutoff is there. But mind you, nobody has said, nobody in the BJP has said it officially that there is any such cutoff. It's an unwritten code which can be basically, which can just be dumped at the next opportune time and if the need arises. So what the Varanasi BJP leader was asking the Prime Minister to do was, or what he was advising him, that okay, we are being inspired by you, you hang around, you don't follow this 75-year cutoff. The Prime Minister just smiled, did not respond. So yes, in 2024, if you have to ask me, Modi will be the face of the party. So that's it from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Keep watching, keep sending me your feedback and questions.